Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. Even though I cover usually 4 games a week, I still get tons of review copies, and it's tough for me to get to everything. So I'm doing a 5 review in 5 minutes or so video. I'm going to do a few of these before the end of the year, and this one's focused on kid and family-friendly games. We're looking at Turbo Kidz, Mists of Carcassonne, Magic Rabbit, Noobs in Space, and Priorities. Got review copies of all 5 of these, and I'm going to discuss them in my own ranking order from worst to best, but I'll also share the ranking that my 8-year-old and 11-year-old had for each of them and where we differ. So at number 5, my least favorite of all of these is Miss Over Carcassonne, and my 11-year-old ranked this as his number 5, also his least favorite, and my 8-year-old ranked it as his 4th out of 5, so not great rankings. Now, this is very similar to the original Carcassonne formula if you've played that, and I will say that I have kind of soured on tile-laying games in general over the years since I used to play this one quite a bit, and it's also more complicated to place the tiles in good places. It can be a very challenging game, so I think that's why my 11 and 8-year-old didn't like it so much. So it's basically Carcassonne trying to put down tiles to complete cities and roads and score points, but you have these ghosts that are going out everywhere, and if they run out, then you lose, but if you complete their little mist lakes, then you get rid of them, so you're trying to kind of like build for points, but also build to mitigate the ghosts. And that is interesting, but I found that it increases the randomness and swinginess and luck in Carcassonne. There's also basically no cooperation ownership in the game. You just take turns drawing tiles, so playing the game solo is almost identical to playing it cooperatively, and there's a huge potential for alpha gaming because really, again, you just draw a tile and then everyone can talk about where you should put it. So if you like Carcassonne, this might be a fun spin on the formula for you, but as a cooperative game, as a family weight game, not really a winner for me. Next at my number 4, but this was my 11-year-old's number 1 and my 8-year-old's number 2, so apparently Dad is the boring one. And this one is Priorities. So the gameplay is you'll have one player kind of in charge of the cards at a time. They'll have 5 cards and they will rank them for the things that they prioritize from most to least or think are best to worst. And then the rest of the players, knowing that person, try to guess their rankings. And there's 2 different ways to score. This is something I like about the game. You can either flip over the ones you get right and then give the ones you got wrong to like kind of opposing player, and whichever team you or the kind of like solo or co-op automa, not really, whichever of you spells out the word Priorities first wins the game. So that's kind of fun and goofy. It can make the game go on a little bit long, but it does make it more exciting to flip these things over. Alternatively, if you wanted more of a classic scoring method, you just score how close each of your guesses were and play for a certain number of rounds. But it's a pretty fun party game, no major complaints. It is pretty basic. It's the kind of thing you can just kind of put together on your own without buying the game if you wanted to, but having all the cards is nice. Although I don't love all the things that they're ranking. They seem very modern in like a somewhat annoying way, like a 2 times Uber surge. All right, whatever. I find some of the things are kind of hard to rank, at least for me, but I'm old and boring. And again, my 11 and 8-year-old like this a lot more. So there you go. That's Priorities, my number 4. My number 3 is Magic Rabbit, and this was also my 11-year-old's number 3 and my 8-year-old's number 1. We definitely enjoyed this one. The basic idea of the game is you're trying to get the correct rabbits under the correct hats and in the correct place, but the wrinkle is that you don't know which rabbit is under where. So you take actions in a real-time format. This is a real-time game, each taking turns either looking at what rabbit is where, or swapping entire things, or just switching which hats are there. And again, you have to get the right rabbit with the right hat in the right order. It's fun. It's hectic. You even have these little like doves that block you from messing with certain hats unless you move the doves. So it can be a little frantic. Usually I play like easier modes and take away the doves, and you don't use the timer until we all get the idea. But as someone who enjoys real-time cooperative games, I think this one is pretty cool. And a very nice touch is that they have 3 of these envelopes that you unlock that give you like extra little challenges and things to deal with as you play to make it more complicated. Really appreciate that. So if you like real-time cooperative games, this one is definitely a recommend. It's only my number 3, but still a really fun game. That's Magic Rabbit. My number 2 is the latest in the Kidz series, including Zombie Kids and Zombie Teens. This is called Turbo Kidz. And it was my 11-year-old's number 2 as well, but my 8-year-old's number 5 because he just couldn't draw very straight with the pen and got really frustrated. But this one is only cooperative or competitive. You can't play solo. One player covers their eyes with a little mask, and they are holding the dry erase pen, and the other player is directing them with their voice and also using their thumb like a joystick, like the other player like mah, mah, mah. Although if you don't like doing that, you can pretty much do the voice thing. And yeah, you're trying not to like hit the walls, you're trying to drive, and in competitive, you're trying to go as fast as you can. In solo co-op, you're just trying to like beat the timer. And you have like jumps where you have to lift up the pen. like land back down. You have tunnels where you have to go through, but you can't talk during them. You have like little powers you can unlock, like hang gliders and things. So it's just a lot of fun for a quick, goofy little game. We certainly laughed our butts off while playing with the cooperative mode. So yeah, I think this one is a ton of fun if you don't mind, again, kind of real-time stress and tension and silliness. Turbo Kidz could be a winner for you, my number 2. And that leaves Noobs in Space as my number 1. And I actually did a podcast episode on this one with Peter if you want to hear a fuller review on it. But I'll note this was the 4th choice for my 11-year-old and the 3rd choice for my 8-year-old. They definitely did not enjoy it as much. I did play through the entire campaign with my regular gaming groups. Maybe this one is a little bit less family friendly. But the basic idea is this is sort of an escape room/slash puzzle game. You have 8 different scenarios you can play through, and you're going to have these different tasks. And you have to use the cards in different way to follow the tasks and complete them. But all the cards are divided up among the players. There's another one that can't be played solo. And so you're like discussing with each other. You can't show each other your cards, but you can talk about them however you like. So it's all about communication, listening to the instructions, trying to figure things out as quickly as you can. Another real-time one, by the way. I realize there's a lot of real-time on this list. But it's goofy, it's silly, and something I'll note, unlike a lot of escape room-ish games, the puzzles kind of blend together so much because like sometimes they repeat, but in different ways, that I feel like you could totally play through the 8 scenario campaign with another group and have no danger of remembering things and kind of ruining the puzzle for others. Like, I don't remember any of the details from my full campaign playthrough and can certainly play this with my family again if they wanted to. So that's Noobs in Space, my number 1. So thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know what you think about this speed format for coverage. I won't try to do this too often, but when I just get so many games, it's kind of tough to keep up. Thanks for watching, good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.